Hello, and welcome to Pressing Buttons. I'm Hugo.
I'm Nick.
Another great week, another great episode coming at you. We are glad to be back. Episode 88 of Pressing Buttons, our last episode of the year, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, everybody that's listening, this is the last episode of the year. Quick PSA, just in case you are listening to this right off the beginning. Make sure you pay attention. No episode next week due to the American holiday of Christmas. I don't know if that's also, I'm pretty sure it's a holiday everywhere else as well, but mostly America. And then the week after that is also New Year's, which lands on a Monday, so we're going to take that week off as well. So unfortunately, no episodes for 2 weeks while we ring in the new year. With this week, we're going to be wrapping up what we thought about the Game Awards and a couple news items that came up throughout the week. And then at the beginning for the first episode of the year, we're going to do our best of list. So we're going to list our best games that we personally enjoyed for the year. I know there were a lot. And then we'll also do TV shows and movies and any other piece of, media that we consume throughout the year, since we kind of are all over the place when it comes to that. So looking forward to that. To start off the year, very big year, 2024. It's going to be the beginning of our third year. So super excited for that. Who would have thunk it?
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What is the largest number between 1 and 1,000,000 that doesn't end in the letter N?
1 million?
That ends in N.
909,099.99. Whatever 9 is. Whatever all the 9s is. 999,999. That doesn't end in an N. It ends in an E.
Yeah, what the hell? What's the it's like a trick question.
I don't know what you're trying to do.
I thought the answer was 88.
I don't know what you're trying to do. You're derailing this episode completely. Is it maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? You just derailed the intro.
I just saw that somewhere. I think I fucked up the delivery, but I know the answer is 88. So that's because it's our episode number.
Oh,
but I think I fucked the prompt up.
Yeah. You were doing a whole bit about our episode. I'm like, where the fuck is this going?
It's the episode number.
Well, yeah, now I know where it's going, but I'm like, what the fuck's he asking?
Yeah.
Look it up, and then maybe we could redo this at the end of the episode. Anyways.
No, I think that's right. I think you gotta like fully write out the number. I don't know. That's fine.
Yeah, oh my god, this is.
We're not editing this out either.
Oh, we're not, because this is your dumb fuck up.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Usually, it's me that's fucking up.
I'm just using the raising an infant exhaustion as my excuse for like the next 12 months. So.
Yeah, you have been tired. Yeah, we're sorry for not making an episode last week. Nick was very busy. He's got some stuff going on, and kid stuff. It's the holidays. It's taking care of kids. It's a lot of responsibility. So we weren't able to make an episode. So sorry for that.
No. Sorry, it's not ends in N. It just contains the letter N. That's what it is. I just looked it up real quick.
Yeah, we're past that.
No. I had to look at it. I was like too pissed. I was like, I gotta figure out.
You could have just been like, "Ooh, episode 88." It sounds so cool.
Nah, dude.
But we did release 2 special videos on our YouTube channel, so make sure you guys check it out if you haven't. Those 2 videos are our Big Destiny tournament that we did back in April, which was hilarious, and I believe a lot of people had a lot of fun. So that's on there, and we also uploaded the live stream that we did for the Game Awards 2023, which we also had a lot of fun, and that's going to be one of the topics that we discuss. So make sure you guys check that out. It's on our YouTube channel, Pressing Buttons Podcast. So make sure you guys go there and like and subscribe if you haven't. But let's get to some news that we didn't cover for the past 2 weeks. The first big news, which I think in terms of just like video game news has been one of the biggest news in the last couple of years, and that's the GTA 6 trailer. We talked about it last episode 2 weeks ago. We said that Rockstar had announced they were gonna show the trailer, the first trailer for GTA 6 on December 5th. We did have some, we were trying to figure out if they were gonna save it for the Game Awards, but ultimately they decided to do something by themselves, which it's Rockstar. They have the power to do that, where everybody will be paying attention. It's about a minute and a half video. It shows a lot of footage from gameplay. It looks really freaking amazing, especially compared to something like GTA 5 when it released, and everything else. You can definitely see the Rockstar engine putting in a lot of work, especially if you played not Grand Theft Auto, especially if you played Red Dead Redemption 2, which it also like kicks that out of the park. My thoughts on the trailer, I mean, like, it got me super hyped. Like, Vice City, when it came out, I think it was my favorite just because I loved the era at the time it took place in, obviously taking a lot of influence from like Scarface and stuff like that, and all those gangster movies, and then the Miami cocaine wars and all that stuff. So that was pretty intense. And then obviously with the trailer that them showing, it's very similar to San Andreas, where GTA San Andreas was just focused on San Andreas. Then you had Grand Theft Auto 5, which focused on the whole Los Santos. So this is going to be focused on the whole state, which is, I just forgot the name of it. Do you remember what the name of the state is? It sounds like Florida, but I forget. Whatever.
I have no idea. I just thought it was Florida.
No, look it up.
But I guess it's going to be some other name, right?
Look it up real quick while I finish my little rant. But
Okay.
yeah, it's going to focus on the whole state. So you're just not only going to see like the Miami nightlife, and it does hold a lot of influence from the current world. Rockstar's definitely known to kind of poke fun at the world itself, and just kind of throw barbs and take the pop culture stuff, whatever's going on in the world, and kind of inject it into the game, and laugh at it, which you could see from the trailer, with the TikTok videos, with the dancing, with the crocodile in a mart, with people high on drugs running naked around the street. So it definitely, like, it just got me hyped to play this game, honestly. And I think the way I like music, and I add songs to my playlist, is if I listen to something good, and then I just search it on my Spotify playlist and I add it to my playlist. And I think I've heard this song and watched the trailer at least like 15 times, just because it's such a perfect blend of music and video footage. And I think for any trailer, really, Rockstar really knocks it out of the park. They're really good at incorporating the music into their game, especially as you're playing it with the radio stations and stuff like that. Did you find out the name of the place? What is it?
What's the name of the main character in 300?
Leonidas. Leonida? So it's supposed to
go.
be. So
There you
yeah.
go.
So the end is supposed to be like Florida. So it's Leonida, maybe that's what it said. They said that the end is supposed to sound like Florida, so Leonida.
Leonida?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe,
I don't love that.
Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I heard
I like
that.
Leonida,
Yeah, Leonida sounds good.
but I don't know.
What did you think of the trailer, and the hype that it got? Did you think it's justified? Obviously. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, I mean, even without even looking at it, I knew it was going to be one of the biggest, most watched YouTube videos of all time. I don't know. I think it's like over 150 million at this point.
No, it's
I don't know.
well, as of 11 days, it was 125 million, but it did almost.
As of I just checked, like as of today, it's 150 million.
Oof, there you go.
So I don't know if that puts it at, I don't know where it like exactly ranks it in terms of like all time most watched videos, but it's certainly up there. And I think that just, I think it's a double whammy of like people just have been anticipating this game for roughly a decade. And then also I think the trailer is just like pretty good. Like there's not, it's short, but it looks great. I think they snuck in tons of like references and Easter eggs. So I think that kind of made it fairly like rewatchable, where I think a lot of people are watching it multiple times. I know I've probably watched it like 3 or 4 times. Yeah, I was wondering which, like how, like the graphical fidelity, just like how much more is that going to get pushed in 6 versus 5 and GTA Online. And I think it actually looks it looks amazing. So who knows what it's going to launch on console first, and then maybe there's a PC version later. So presumably that's on, that's running on a PS5. I don't know if they confirm that or not, but um, game looks great. So certainly no qualms from that perspective. It was a little jarring for me because my daughter's name is Lucia, and she's, fairly recently born, and so it's like a fairly new word in my like daily vocabulary, and then that word happens to be the first word in this trailer. I don't know if you picked up on that. So like, I don't know, it was just kind of like this weird, like bizarre thing where it's like, okay, here's like probably one of the most watched YouTube videos of all time, and I want to watch it, and first word is that. So it was just kind of more amusing to me. I did know, because there was a lot of leaks around the game, I did know that the first character, or the one of the main characters, was going to have the name that we were already planning to name our firstborn. But again, it was just kind of like funny to actually hear that. And then the other thing is, Rockstar has always done a great job of editorializing music into their games, and I didn't pay attention to the lyrics. So there's a Tom Petty song that they used in the actual trailer.
"Love Is a Long Road" by Tom Petty.
Yeah, which I don't think is like, that's not one of his big songs.
No, it's not.
So it's like a pretty interesting choice that I actually think just sounds right. Like it sounds good, for even if you've like never even heard the song before. So that's another thing I might do some fact checking on, is to what extent did this trailer like make this his most, like one of his most streamed songs.
I think it went up 30,000% or some shit. It was hilarious.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's just another, just like the effect of Rockstar and getting your tracks picked, I think has a pretty big impact, given how just the size of the audience that these games carry.
Yeah, like you said, their editorial when it comes to videos and music, and also their marketing is top notch. Is one of the best. So definitely looking forward to, especially since we're still a year off. Well, maybe more than a year, because they did say 2025. They didn't say when. Most likely, it's probably going to be, I would say, summer. Hopefully, it's not that far off. Maybe early 2025. But we still have a year and some change of marketing coming for it. So I'm super excited to see what else they're going to be showing us glimpses of. I know it's going to be exciting. This is going to sell so well, obviously, GTA 5 being the juggernaut that it is, and this also just being kind of just one aspect of it, because obviously they didn't talk anything about the online. Are they going to move the online from GTA 5 to GTA 6 and all that stuff? So definitely still a lot of questions, but it's great to see something coming directly from Rockstar, something concrete that you could see, and then an official release year. I think that kind of eases a lot of people. The only downside to this news was, unfortunately, the trailer did get leaked. I believe like 12 or 14 hours ahead of schedule. Somebody hacked it. That's why you don't upload stuff on YouTube. I'm surprised they haven't really released the name of who did it yet, but those Rockstar police are really thorough, so we'll probably find out soon enough. But that's the only downside. I feel bad for the devs, especially like something as momentous as this to get kind of spoiled, and then them having to release the trailer early just to kind of get ahead of it, and not have some shitty quality version of it out there online on the internet. So that's the only downside. But I think they did a great job kind of bouncing back from it, and like I said, releasing it early, and everybody just picking it up right away.
Yeah, I think that sucked. I think the other downside was the PC version not launching along with the console versions.
I don't think that's a downside. No. I mean, I get
it. It is. It fucking sucks. So like they did that. That's exactly what they did. They've done that with their most recent. They did it with Red Dead. They did it with Grand Theft Auto 5. That was like more. Well, it's like, okay, like I think PC gaming. Those games came out a while ago, and arguably PC gaming like wasn't, I think, as big as it is now. Or I think some people would argue against that, but I think maybe that was the thinking at the time. But that is kind of annoying that they're basically like forcing, people who want both, or people who want PC version to wait or like buy the console version, and effectively like double dipping, which just annoys the shit out of me. Like I know Square Enix does that quite a bit as well. Although I think I'm officially done with Square PC versions. I do think even that's been a mixed bag.
Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like the
Grand Theft
Rockstar
Auto
versions of like Grand Theft Auto, especially the trilogy they released, I don't think that was received well.
that was
and it
that was
wasn't
pretty
well.
rough. Grand Theft Auto 5 was cool because it had like a ton of new features. Like you could play it in first person mode, and there's a bunch of other interesting stuff. I think I'm trying to remember. I think the Red Dead 2 might have been kind of
Yeah, I feel like it had a spotty
Kinda
launch.
bumpy.
Yeah.
But either way, as a fan, I want console and PC version same time. The PC version doesn't suck at launch. It's 2024.
I mean, you got to put it in the hands of people, in the hands of where the market is. And right now, the market is in console. So I totally understand it. It's a good thing for us.
Are you fucking insane?
What do you mean?
Do you know what the player base is for Grand Theft Auto on PC?
I'm pretty sure it's high, but it's not higher than PlayStation
I don't
4
know. I don't know off the top of my head,
PS5.
but I don't know. I'm looking it up though. I'm gonna look it up.
I don't know why you're complaining. You have a PS5 and you have a PC. You'll be fine. But as a PC gamer that I've embraced PC gaming, I still go back to my PS5. So it's a little bit of what I wanted to be, to play it to the most of its capabilities graphically and all that stuff. Yes, but also I've been burned before with PC releases to a lot of games. So if it doesn't release on PC right away, I'm fine with that. I'll get it on PS5 and down the road maybe pick it up on PC. But I'm fine with playing it on PS5, especially knowing how well it gets ported into the PlayStation ecosystem. They're pretty good about making the game like not have any issues or hiccups at launch. So I'm excited for that. The only thing I'm worrying right now would be if there's any online issues, any server issues or anything like that that they have maybe when it releases. But yeah, so super hyped about Grand Theft Auto 6. Can't wait to see more of it. Let us know what you guys think about it. Let us know what you thought of the trailer. We definitely want to talk about it more on our Discord, so make sure you guys go in there and let us know what you think. Other big news we want to talk about is The Last of Us factions. Naughty Dog recently announced this week that they are completely canceling the development of The Last of Us factions. For those of you that don't know, factions is basically their multiplayer aspect that they were working as a standalone game. It got announced as soon as The Last of Us 2 got released. It was supposed to be a live service game, kind of with the same mechanics that you had in the original factions multiplayer for The Last of Us 1, where you can craft and all that stuff, but just in bigger maps, wider world, live service with more characters, different things to do. And obviously with Sony kind of leaning more towards developing a lot of live service games, this would have been one of the biggest ones. And we kind of knew things were tumultuous the last couple of years because we've heard little to no news, I would say, in regards to any information. Hold on, because Ash is playing with like a rapper. So if you guys hear a little rapping shit in the background, it's my cat Ash just playing around with shit. So ignore that. But yeah, the last couple of years, we've heard few and far between news in regards to the development of the game. They've shown some concept art and stuff like that, but they haven't really showed any gameplay. And there was a report that Sony had Bungie come in and take a look at the build of the game, of the live service game, and give some pointers since Bungie's so well developed Destiny 2. So I'm a little bit sad about this. Obviously, like I really liked the Last of Us factions on the Last of Us One. I like the multiplayer aspect of it. I thought it was fine the way it was when the Last of Us Two got announced. I was super excited to see them expand the multiplayer. I wasn't expecting that they were going to expand it so much that it was going to become a live service game with a huge arena or whatever it was. So that kind of took me by surprise, but I welcomed it. But now I'm super sad about it. Like I was telling you earlier before we recorded, it's more because they decided to go big and go with this thing where they thought it could work, where they had a perfectly good product in a small size that a lot of people enjoyed, where if they could have just made that with a bit of improvement, I think it would have worked fine. But we're in the future of live service games. The studios want to be pumping out live service games, but as we can see with this, even the best studios can't really produce a hit if it doesn't work. Ultimately, this just gives more focus for Naughty Dog to be able to go back to the roots, which is single player games. I know they're rumored to be working in two single player experiences, one of them being a sci-fi game, and then the other one being either Uncharted 5, Uncharted 5 or Last of Us 3. I don't know which one of those, but those are just rumors. But yeah, super sad that this is getting canceled, and I don't have any sort of Last of Us multiplayer experience to play. But saw it coming. The writing was on the wall. It's been on the wall for at least a year, since the only thing they showed at last year's Game Awards was like concept art. Your thoughts on this being completely shut down and the live service aspect of it?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember when they announced the game. Did they announce Factions was like going to be something that they were going to release at some point? And
yeah, they announced The Last of Us 2, and they said that, hey, we're not releasing multiplayer with it. We're
at
doing
launch,
it separate.
but it'll come later.
Yeah.
And I think most people were looking. Their expectation was something along the lines of what was in Last of Us 1, right? So they weren't expecting this like expansive, free to play live service experience with infinite content that lasts for 5 years. Like I think they just
nobody was expecting that until they themselves were like, hey, how about you guys want this? Nobody was saying we want this.
Yeah, so I don't know. So it's just so like I can just like see the meetings, just like the corporate strategy meetings. And again, this goes back to I think now a couple years ago where Sony's like, oh, we need 15 live service games and they're all going to launch over the next 2 to 3 years or whatever, and they certainly were counting on this one contributing towards that 15 title count. So I think this is just yet another lesson learned of, first of all, just like trying to fit a game. There's like the studio and then the actual just like title itself. It's like trying to force a studio, whether it was done by like Sony or just the leadership of Naughty Dog itself, but like trying to force a studio to create a live service game when they don't have that experience is bad. And then also like not every game or IP fits into a live service model, so that's also can be bad. So it's like two bads don't make a good. So it's like it's not surprising. I do wonder to what extent like Bungie actually had, who knows whether that was like speculation or if it was validated somewhere, but I do wonder like to what extent Bungie had a say in this project getting killed. Particularly given like they're not doing great right now, so it's like what veto power do they have on other studios who I think are like far more successful than they are? I just feel like that's like a weird dynamic.
I think it wasn't like it was reported with accuracy through Bloomberg that Bungie did go in and kind of give their thoughts. Not necessarily like they didn't have any power to shut it down, but it was just to see if it was working, any tips that they could give for the fun of the game.
We call that knowledge transfer.
Well, no knowledge was transferred, or it was like, yeah, this is shit.
They're like, not fixable, shut this bitch down. So So yeah, no. So I think it's again, just put it in the list of lessons learned as it relates to studios failing to deliver these types of games, particularly when no one's asking for them. So it's just like then you just get into like the opportunity cost of how many dev resources went into trying to get this off the ground when they could have just been doing something else.
Yeah, that's the big one. The resources that they put into this, the when they could have been working on so many other things, and I think, if there is a silver lining, which is kind of a bit late, I think, would be that in the statement that they release, it's like, hey, now we're gonna focus on what we're good at, which is our single player experiences, which we're happy to get back to. But this is something like that you should have realized. What The Last of Us has been out for like 4 years, and they've been working on this essentially for 4 years, maybe more. Considering the development cycles of these experiences, this is something that should have been cut off a while ago.
I thought they were just gonna say, "Hey, Factions 2 is great. We're actually just gonna go right ahead and launch the remaster of Factions 2. We're gonna just start with that."
Oh well, no. No.
They're gonna. Sorry, I'll stop there.
But it also doesn't bode well for the other live service games, which we're looking at 5 or 6, depending on what gets made. There's that rumored Horizon one that's going to be Fortnite-like, and that's probably not going to do anything. You haven't heard anything like that. Live service games are tough. So it's tough, man. So Sony, Jim Ryan's like, let's do live service games, and then he quit. So it's not looking good.
Do you think that's why? Do you think it was becoming clear that was the wrong move, and he was like, you know what?
He got out before the
Let
ship.
me get out on top. Yeah. Before I have to fix this mess.
I'm not saying live service games don't work.
To be clear, like I'm not a live service game hater. I was literally playing Honkai Star Rail earlier today, so it's like I don't hate the model. Like the model can work well. I mean, I think Fortnite's another great example. So it's like it can work well. I think what's happening is because when it works well, it works so well. Companies then try to chase that revenue, and then they try to like overfit their development teams and their IP into that model when it just like doesn't work. So so I think this is probably the first of. I think this is the first big cancellation we've seen from Sony. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if we'll hear about more of them. I mean, they've kind of already announced that they've reduced. I can't remember. It was like 15 down to like 6 or something. You said,
yeah,
or, I don't know.
Down to 6, which
so I don't know if we are going to know exactly which titles those were, but I wouldn't be surprised if there's more. Like,
but this is why the industry is suffering. This is why we had so many layoffs this year, which is sad to see. It's because these at least the publishers are kind of over promising in terms of what they think the studios can do or what they want out of the studios, and the studios kind of know what they can do, and they let them know, hey, maybe this can't be done. And it's just a conflict. And obviously the publisher wants to make money and the studio just wants to do the work. So it's not working. And at least in 2024, and we talked about this, Sony doesn't have anything. Like, if I look at 2024, anything directly from...
It's all third-party goodness.
Yeah, it's all third-party, which, I'll probably still get...
Which I'm very excited about, but yeah.
Because of PC, but, like, there's no title where I'm like, hey, I'm going to get this PS5 title. Like, there's nothing like that in the horizon, no pun intended. So, you got to come up with something. You got to come out.
That's a pretty good pun, actually.
You got to come out the gate swinging in 2024, because you can't hold that lead for too long, especially when Nintendo coming out with the Switch 2 or whatever it is. All right, so that does it for that bit of news. The last thing we wanted to cover is the Game Awards. So if you guys were lucky enough to join us, we did the live stream of the Game Awards, had a lot of fun. Shout outs to everybody who joined us. We had, at maximum, I think 17 people at the same time. So that's a new pressing
largest
buttons record.
Ever concurrent user count.
Yeah, that's a new pressing buttons record. We had a lot of fun. Shout outs to Robo Snarf, who won the Madden 2025 Deluxe Edition. See, we gave away something, so that was pretty good. There was a little bit of controversy, but
He was, we didn't have any terms of
yeah.
terms of service or whatever. So he beat the system.
Yeah, he did beat the system, but nobody was too mad because we had a lot of fun. So we're just gonna go over kind of the big announcements. You guys can go to our YouTube channel, Pressing Buttons Podcast, and check out the full stream, and you can check out our comments on everything that got announced. But we're just gonna go over the main announcements, everything that we kind of saw and liked, especially new trailers. We're not really gonna go over anything that's old unless it's more. It's newer footage. We're going to start off with Metaphor ReFantazio, which is a new game by the same people who make Shin Megami, is it?
Yeah.
Yep. And it's releasing...
Yes, it's Atlas.
Atlas, yeah. I just didn't want to fuck it up, just in case. And that's out in fall 2024. I put that in here because it looks good. Like, I'm not a big fan of the Persona 5 big menu with the graphics and all that stuff, but the game itself does look good, and it's a new world, so I'm excited for that. And I also put it in there mostly for you too, because I know you love this shit. How excited are you for this? Shit.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, I think this is the second trailer we've seen, maybe third.
Yeah, the announcement trailer I believe was during Summer's Game Fest. This is actual like, hey, game footage and a little bit longer.
Yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, I'm a fan of Atlas, fan of the Persona and Shin Megami franchises. I bought the collector's edition of Shin Megami 5.
Ooh, did not know
but
that.
Could not play it on the Switch, so it's exclusive to the Switch, and it's a fucking slideshow playing the game. So like, I couldn't play it.
Oh, that sucks.
So I'm looking forward to this to kind of scratch that itch, but get it on PC or PS5, just anything that's not the Switch, so that it at least runs at 30 frames per second, and I can try to enjoy it.
The Switch too, maybe.
I don't
maybe
think,
more frames.
I can't remember all the platforms it's going to be on, but I wouldn't expect it to be Switch 2. But
you don't know.
Maybe down the road.
It's unannounced. We don't know when it's coming out. You don't know.
Could be.
Or maybe
either way, I'm not going to buy it for it.
Yeah, make sure you don't buy it so you can actually play it. Next thing we want to talk about, God of War Ragnarok Valhalla DLC. So this one was a big surprise. I know there was some reports that there was some DLC being worked on for God of War. Obviously, it's been a year since the Ragnarok released, and a lot of people were waiting for more content. But the surprising part of this was that it's free DLC and that it was available right away. And I think, wait, was it right away? Yeah, right away. No, not right away.
There's two. I thought there was two of them, right?
No, that was Final Fantasy 16. That's where I'm getting confused. So the Final Fantasy 16, which we'll get to a little bit later.
I'm glad I could help you by also being wrong.
Yeah.
You're like, no, that's wrong. So the other way is right. Yeah.
This is how the sausage is made. We don't do fact checking. We just confuse each other until we get it right.
Memory, process of elimination.
So this got announced that night, and it actually released 5 days later on Tuesday. So there you go. I'm just confusing this with the Final Fantasy 16 DLC, but this is very surprising. I've been hearing a lot of great news about this. A lot of people are enjoying it. They're surprised that it's free. They're surprised that it's that expansive. I know there's a little joke on the internet that Christopher Judge was saying that his speech was longer than the Call of Duty campaign, and a lot of people were actually saying that this DLC is longer than the Call of Duty campaign, so that's good to hear. I'm excited to get back into it. I know it covers a lot of it deals mostly. It deals just with Kratos, so you're not going to see Atreus and all that stuff, and it deals with Kratos' history, and me being a big fan of the God of War franchise from the beginning. I'm excited to get my hands into this. I know there's a lot of actually DLC that from different games that I haven't played this year because I've just been moving on from game to game that I got to remember to go back and play, but this is definitely on my list to get into. I know you haven't finished God of War, but how surprised were you that they announced that this was for free? I think that was a big thing.
Yeah, well, I don't know if it was necessarily surprising. Like, I think we knew whether they actually announced it or it was just rumors and speculation, but I think we knew that there was some DLC coming for Ragnarok. I think it was just a question of what was the scope of it and whether they were going to charge money for it. So I guess maybe that's the surprising thing is the feedback seems to be it's like, wow, this is actually, because I think a lot of free DLC these days, it's like maybe a couple missions or it's like some kind of like bolted on mode that doesn't have like a long shelf life or its cosmetics, but this seems to be like meaningful story content that takes quite a while to work through. And people seem to really like it. So that's cool. I guess I just like couldn't get through the game. Like it was just like the base game. Like I just maybe at some point I'll go back and pick it up, but there's just been too much other good shit, and I felt like Ragnarok was just way too more of the same. So I just got bored. I just got bored, frankly. So for people who really love the game, it's I'm glad to see more more story content that people like coming out. But for me, I was just like, yeah, like whatever. Like I'm probably never gonna beat that game.
Well, when I get to it, I'll let you know how it is. I won't spoil it, but I'll get my thoughts on it.
Okay.
All right, next thing is Moon Studios, the makers of the Ori franchise. They announced a new action RPG called No Rest for the Wicked. Of note, regarding this game, it looked really, really good. You play as different heroes, so that looked pretty good. I always love the art style from the Ori franchise, and this kind of keeps it about the same, but just with more graphical fidelity. I think the action looks crazy. The art style looks crazy. I know you didn't really play the Ori franchise. Did this? I know when we saw this, did it make you want to play it? What do you think of it?
Yeah, no, this looks more interesting to me, for sure. For whatever reason, like I am a big fan of the Metroidvania genre, and generally speaking, will like anything, of those type of game. And I know like Ori had, it was like critically acclaimed. People absolutely love that game, but like I've tried multiple times to play it, and I just get so bored by it. Like very quickly. So I own it, but never beat it and didn't really care for more from that game.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the fine line of Metroidvanias. If it clicks, and you want to beat it and you want to do everything, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Like you said, Ori didn't do that for you, but I know like Hollow Knight. You really liked Hollow Knight, right? Or no?
I actually don't know if I played that one.
Oh, okay. It might have been Zach. I'm thinking of Zach.
Okay.
Or somebody else. Okay. But yeah, if the Metroidvania clicks, you'll love it and you'll play it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So it's a very fine line. Next game was presented by Ikumu Nakamura, who's the founder of Unseen Studios. She debuted the trailer for the new game, which is called Kemuri. It was a CG trailer, very interesting art style, no gameplay, but I'm excited just because I really like her, Ikumi. She's the head of the studios, Unseen Studios. Seen her, I believe, I don't know if it was last year or the year before when she first got kind of introduced to the world by announcing Ghostwire Tokyo. But I think it looks very interesting. I'm excited to see whatever she's working on, whatever her studio's working on. I love her art style. I know she works with Ubisoft. She does some special skins for their operators in the Rainbow Six franchise. So I'm excited to see what this world is. And I love the take of it being the Japanese world and the yokais in the Japanese world, which is a little bit of Ghostwire Tokyo, but I think this just looks more fun. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah,
trailer?
it was very much more vibrant, and I think it had a unique art style. Look, I mean, I think it was pretty impressive given I think how new the studio is. Did they have a release date or no? I can't remember.
No release date. Yeah,
it was just kind of like preliminary footage. Yeah, no, I think it looked cool, like the aesthetic. I don't think there's too much more to go off of. One thing I think about, it's like, I'm curious what you think. Yeah, I think it was 2 or 3, maybe like 3 years ago, where she did some presentation, and then just like everyone fell in love with her and became like an internet celebrity overnight.
Yeah.
And part of me is like, if she didn't do that presentation, would she have gone off and like done her own studio? Do you think?
I think so.
Like I feel like that and then this sounds crazy because she's been in the industry for a long time and is very well regarded, but like I just felt like that was such like a transformative moment that like maybe gave her the confidence to be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go do this on my own and build my own studio.
I mean, I think so. Just because one, she's a very nice personality to see in the game development, but obviously, like, I think she was second to Shinji Mikami in terms of coming from Resident Evil, then doing the Evil Within, and then them working on Ghostwire Tokyo, and then for whatever reason it didn't work out. She left. She left Tango Gameworks and did her own studio. So I think eventually you still would have seen her, and her art style being so distinct, and she's actually, even though she's kind of very affable, I think she's really what's the word? She's a go-getter. She really wanted to do this, but she's like a people person too. So it works. It's just hard to see in the game industry somebody that's like has a nice attitude, but is also like really a hard worker kind of thing. I don't know, because they're mostly not to be rude to the game developers, but they're mostly sad because it's very tough being a developer. They're not happy at all. But she seems to be happy a lot, which I like. But yeah, excited for that. Excited to see more from that too as well. Next game is A Rise of Ronin. This is by Team Ninja. It'll be releasing in March. I had this marked on my calendar when I saw it first. This one, it seems to be a PlayStation exclusive. We'll have to check on that, but it's releasing March. Definitely a stacked first quarter of 2024, which we're happy about. We'll discuss that when we take a look at the 2024 game slate. But obviously, big fan of Team Ninja over here. I know you're a fan of them as well. They've really entrenched themselves in the Soulsborne genre with Wulong, with Neo, and now with this.
Stranger of Paradise, dude.
Stranger of Paradise as well, which kind of got me thinking of like,
which is the better Final Fantasy 16.
No, I will not get. No, we will not have this discussion here. We will not bring this hate here. Final Fantasy 16 is a great game, but it's just like, I hope it's not too similar, even though they're all very similar.
I was just gonna say that. Like, I feel like
the market's oversaturated
yeah.
with Team Ninja Soulsborne games. Because I didn't really, I played Wulong and I liked it, but I didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed Neo. I think Neo, I really got enjoyed it, and then obviously, like you said, Stranger of Paradise, really enjoyed that. I think this one, obviously, you put me in a samurai world, I will buy whatever it is, whatever that has to do with it. I will buy samurai games. That's all you need for me to keep a studio afloat. But I hope I just get, I hope I enjoy it. Like, I don't get bogged down by like, oh, it's the same, it doesn't feel good kind of thing. What did you see the trailer? What did you think of it?
Yeah, no, that's exactly my concern. Is I feel like Team Ninja is kind of like spread too thin and putting out too many games that are too similar. And maybe that's just like, I think Wulong left a pretty bad taste in my mouth. So, but even Stranger Paradise, like I enjoyed it, but it was kind of like a dumb game. Like, I don't think it was. The story was. I mean, the dialogue was dumb, but the story was good. And but like the new spin of Final Fantasy, like, you could break. You could build. You could just like break the system like very easily. So
that's good.
Like,
that's, you could do that in Neo.
That's why I had a good time with it. So yeah, I don't know. It's. So I'm like a little worried. I feel like also it's PlayStation exclusive. It kind of puts it in direct conflict with Ghost of Tsushima. Yeah. I know maybe it's not like exactly the same, but like to me, I feel like it's similar enough. So, and it's also releasing in Q1, which is Q1 of 2024, which is one of the most insane periods of game launches, which is saying a lot given
considering the year we just had,
yeah. So like I feel like it's going to be real tough to, like, unless the game is just like unbelievable, which based on what I've been seeing from Team Ninja probably isn't the case. I think this title is going to have a tough time standing out in the crowd.
Hopefully for me, it's more Neo or Stranger Paradise than Wulong. So we'll see on that. But this is I'm gonna buy it anyways. I know myself. I'm gonna buy it, and then if it sucks, it sucks. But I'll play it anyways.
Let me know.
Yeah.
Let me know. You generally have a good idea of whether you think I'm gonna like a game.
Yeah.
So I'll just wait for you to tell me whether to buy it.
And the thing is that with Wulong, I thought it was trying to be like Sekiro, and it failed really bad.
That's just.
And even for you who didn't enjoy Sekiro either. So
yeah.
All right, next game we have Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. It's a new Dragon Ball game. It was a successor to Tenkaichi, which they had announced. I just put this on here because I thought it looked fucking amazing. I know a lot of people have been waiting for the sequel to Tenkaichi, something that they could play through, and the fact that this has like Dragon Ball, it's gonna have the Dragon Ball storyline, it's gonna have the Dragon Ball Z storyline, it's gonna have the Dragon Ball Super storyline. I think that's super exciting, just for being a big fan of Dragon Ball. What about you? I don't know where your Dragon Ball allegiance stands.
No, I'm a fan. A little bit skeptical of a lot of the games. But I do know people really like this like specific take on the franchise, and we're looking for a sequel. So I think it's finally here. So I'll keep an eye on it.
All right. And then one big announcement was a collaboration between Hideo Kojima and Jordan Peele called OD. They showed off some face capture for a couple of the three main characters that they'll have in the game. And then they had Kojima come out there along with Jordan Peele, and they talked about the process and how great it is to be working together. Obviously, I think this is either going to be PT, what was originally supposed to be PT before he got booted from that. It looks good. I'm excited. It's Kojima, so you never know what to expect. This is supposed to be a completely new experience. The interesting part of it is that this seems to be like it's only going to be an Xbox exclusive release, or at least Xbox and PC exclusive release with their partnership. So that's going to be pretty interesting. But excited to see what the mind of Kojima and now Jordan Peele together will produce. What do you think of it?
Yeah, cool collaboration. Kojima often has all sorts of celebrities visiting his studio, or if he's like on calls with people, he's always like posting about it. And Jordan Peele has been at least once, if not several times, has been featured on it. And I think you're just kind of like, oh yeah, like whatever, like, you know, Jordan Peele's been putting out cool movies, and Kojima's a big movie guy, so maybe they're just like, you know, hanging out or whatever. But
this is actual work.
They've been collaborating on a project, so that was like kind of cool to see that out in the wild for the first time. So I'm assuming Xbox is funding the project, so it would probably be on Xbox or
that's what it sounds like,
or PC. And I thought it would be trying to leverage like cloud technology. Was I don't remember if they specifically made reference to that, but
they made reference to it not there, but afterwards they said cloud technology.
Oh, they did. Okay. Because when Xbox and Kojima Productions first said that they were working on something, that was definitely a bullet point, was trying to leverage, you know, Azure and cloud technology in some cool and interesting ways. So, it was kind of like, it was kind of like a weird. It was just like a typical like absolute nothing of a trailer. So it's like,
it's just Kojima promises that'll be different, but hey, his track record speaks for itself.
Do you know what I think this came out after the show, but the statement is something along the lines of Death Stranding was a new genre, OD is a new media, or it's like some, you know, kind of ridiculous claim like that. So, which is very Kojima. And
just a little bit of news to this, they did announce a couple days later that they are making the Death Stranding movie. A24 will be collaborating with Kojima. you excited about that? I mean, obviously they're gonna have Norman Reedus, but to translate this into a
Hopefully,
movie, to translate this into a movie is gonna be
Norman Reedus to feed
fucking
us.
bonkers.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Like I think the collaboration makes sense. Like A24 has been absolutely crushing it. They just are kind of like one of the few production companies that are like actually taking risk and doing like more edgy movies and things like that. So I think that's a great fit. Uh for sure. So yeah, I'm optimistic. Like I was a fan. I know I'm kind of like being kind of like dunky on Kojima and Death Stranding and stuff, but like I'm actually a huge fan of him and almost all of his games. I really enjoyed Death Stranding, so I'll look forward to the movie for sure. It's just kind of like that's going to be a tricky one, but because of the way he basically uses celebrities in the game, so I guess that makes casting pretty easy.
Yeah, everybody wants to be in a Kojima game.
Yeah.
All right, and then the next game, which kind of took us by surprise, that they announced was Marvel's Blade, and this was a big surprise. When we were watching the trailer, we thought that it was DLC for Dishonored, not Dishonored, for Redfall, which we had a big laugh about because it's like nobody plays Redfall, especially with the
They
blood
promised
and
to
the
fix
vampire.
it.
Yeah,
They promised they were going to fix it.
I think they threw it in the trash. But
Yeah.
they did a little trailer, a small teaser for Blade. It's being worked on by Arcane, which obviously did Deathloop and Dishonored, very highly acclaimed games. They didn't show any gameplay, obviously, but because it's just started in the early stages. But I'm excited. I mean, the studio that's working on it, obviously, heavy hitters, and then Blade. I don't think I've ever played a Blade game. I don't know if probably there has been a Blade game just based off of the fact because there was movies and stuff like that. But I'm excited to see what it will be. I think they can obviously know how to work it, especially with whether it's melee with the swords or you have shooting with the guns or whatever it is. I'm excited to see, and they're great at telling a story. So I'm excited for that. I know you were surprised too. You were like, we both were
I
like,
think
oh, this is Blade.
Yeah, no, I think this was probably the biggest surprise in the show, right? There's like a few other surprises, but it was like things that we knew we were going to see eventually.
Yeah, or
it
at
was
least
just a question
expected.
of whether it was going to be at the game show. But I mean, this like kind of came out of nowhere and is, it's I don't know if it's like as kind of groundbreaking or as like Spider-Man and Insomniac, which is like, oh my god, that makes so much sense. It's obvious. It's like a match made in heaven. I think this is like, I don't know if it's like at that exact level, but it's like pretty close. Like I think it's like you can kind of like based on their track record, you can kind of see how that would fit pretty well in the Blade universe. So yeah, no, I'm definitely excited for this one. And it'd be good to actually get a good vampire game out of Bethesda.
Yeah, and obviously, like if you have a list of studios that you want to work on Marvel properties or just any comic book properties, I think Arcane would be up there. So rightly so. Next game we want to talk about is the Hello Games new game. Hello Games is the makers of No Man's Sky. For their 10-year anniversary, they decided to show a new trailer for their new game called Light No Fire. And the reason I put this down is because I was very interested by this. It looked amazing. Obviously, you want to take this with a grain of salt, considering the release of No Man's Sky and everything that was promised when they. Oh, this is Ash. He's moving around too much. I got to bring him out.
Is this a world premiere right here?
No, the world premiere. This is the world premiere on the podcast. The world
On the
premiere
podcast, yeah.
on live stream was on the live stream. So check that out. But he's been moving around too much. I got to hold him real quick. But yeah, they showed off the new trailer for Light No Fire. but I think they learned their lesson. They learned their lesson from No Man's Sky, and obviously everything that they overpromised and didn't deliver. But it looks great to me. It looks very expansive. You could do a lot of things. I love the party aspect of it. I love the characters. There seem to be some animal humanoids and stuff like that. I'm super excited for this. They didn't really release any release information, date information on when it's releasing or anything like that. But I didn't play No Man's Sky, but this looks like I could enjoy it. What do you think of the trailer?
I don't even remember. Look, I think I might have been on a phone call.
Okay, so we will just.
Did I? Yeah, did I miss that?
You might have missed this one. You might have.
And I also don't. I just didn't like No Man's Sky, so I just don't really.
I think this looked fun. All right, you're gonna have to look at the trailer later. We're just gonna move on. I'll check it out later. Good job on the research.
Move on.
The last two bit of news, I'm gonna flip flop it because I have them separate here. First one is Final Fantasy 16, as Nick says, Devil May Cry or the one of the worst Final Fantasies.
No, I didn't. It's not one of the worst Final Fantasies. I just said that Stranger of Paradise is a better Final Fantasy action game than Final Fantasy 16.
So Final Fantasy 16 got DLC announced. They had Echoes of the Fallen, which was available that night. That's where I had the confusion between that and God of War. And then the Rising Tide, which will be available in summer 24. Very, very excited for this. Like I said, I haven't gotten into any DLCs for a lot of the games I finished, but I really enjoyed Final Fantasy 16, and I want to know more of the world. And it looks, the Echoes of the Fallen DLC, from what I've been hearing, it's definitely it's kind of like a tower kind of thing. So doesn't really expand it. The Rising Tide, which will be released in 2024, looks to be more immersive. Now, do you have anything on this? I know you haven't finished Final Fantasy. You didn't want to give it any awards or anything like that, except for lead. So no, you got nothing on Final Fantasy?
No.
All right.
Don't care. Not gonna play it.
All right. So I know you got something on this, which is the last one that we're going to talk about, and it was the last announcement for the show. And I'm not gonna toot my own horn, but I did kind of predict this, and this is Monster Hunter Wilds. They showed a quick snippet, I believe like 30 seconds, of a hunter riding some sort of bird thing now, your companion, which is now a bird. And then they showed the Rathalos at the end, and I knew it was Monster Hunter. There was rumors that Capcom still had a title to announce, so I was super excited that they announced this. Being a big fan of Monster Hunter World, I know you were a big fan of it as well. We played a lot of it together. I played a lot of it on the PlayStation 4, and then I played a lot of it on PC. And I'm super, super excited for this. Sad that it's going to be 2025, but I'm looking forward to this. I'm way more hyped. And this is, from what I've been reading on the internet, this is a numbered series. Apparently on the logo, the more dragon heads it has, well, the amount of dragon heads it has on the logo means it's an entry series, like it's a main numbered series. So this had...
It's not Rise or whatever the fuck that was.
Yeah. So this had 6 wyvern heads on the logo. So that means that this is the 6th one, Monster Hunter World being the 5th one. So I'm super excited for this. Can't wait to hear more. Capcom said that they'll announce more information in the summer of 2024, which is the 25th anniversary of the Monster Hunter franchise. What'd you think of it?
That's great. It's 25 years of these games?
25 years.
Jeez. I know they took a long time to get out to be like more popular in the West. So, because I remember them being like huge on like the PlayStation Portable systems and in Japan and
And my first experience with Monster Hunter was I saw it in one of those bootleg video game stores in New York, where some dude was playing his bootleg PS2 hacked Japanese Monster Hunter. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I want to play that. And then
give me that.
And then being a child and being broke and knowing I couldn't play that. Look at me now, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to have it confirmed. I think the trailer didn't really show too much, but I guess maybe the release date is interesting, and I think 2025 sounds kind of soon, actually, given kind of everything Capcom's been up to and how expansive I'm hoping the game is. So I think I'm happy with that. Is this your most anticipated title, just in the grand scheme of games?
Yeah, I think so. Just because like I enjoyed World so much and everything it did. And with the power of consoles now and the power of PCs now, like I can't imagine what it's gonna be. And then obviously any new monsters they introduce, I'm a big fan of all their designs. I have a Nergigante. I have two Nergigantes in the background. I went to the Monster Hunter Cafe in Japan. Like, I love the whole design of Monster Hunter. So I'm super excited.
Look at how good Dragon's Dogma looks. And
Exactly.
it's probably going to be, just as good, if not better.
More colorful because Dogma does look
More
drab.
colorful, yeah. So yeah, that's super exciting. And I feel like it's a franchise, like I played a ton of it, but I feel like I didn't even get like
Oh yeah, because
halfway through anything.
You spend
like,
so much time on like one hunt. So, and
Yeah.
that's the other thing. I think the other thing I'm more excited about is that we're gonna be able to play together. Like, we've been complaining about this for a while, where there's very few games where we're like, yeah, let's all play this and we actually have fun, or we're there for a bit before we change to something else. When we played Monster Hunter World together as a group, me, you, Ollie, Zach, Caesar, like different groups, like we were there for a while hunting a lot of hunts. So I'm excited for that aspect of it, like super excited.
hunting those hunts.
Yeah. All right. So that was it for the announcements for the Game Awards that we really enjoyed. Like I said, there's more announcements. If you want to take a look at that, check out our live stream on our YouTube channel. Before we close this up, we just wanted to ask you, what were your overall thoughts on the Game Awards, in terms of presentation, in terms of what they announced, in terms of any controversies? We were gonna make a bingo, but we were definitely unprepared for it.
Yeah, we started too late, and
But in
I think we both got like a deer in the headlights moment where we're like, oh my god, there's a lot of squares that we need to fill out.
Yeah. But in our defense, a lot of the stuff that we would have put on bingo did come true.
Yeah,
So we would have
yeah.
hit bingo.
For me, it was the big. I was pretty confident we were going to see something from Death Stranding 2. So I think instead we saw OD. So maybe that was my biggest miss. But yeah, I think there was some. Oh yeah, there was no security breach as far as we know. I think that was another.
He stepped
I
up
think that was
the
our first
security
bingo
game, yeah.
square where like definitely someone is storming the stage. So thankfully that didn't happen. But yeah, I thought it was entertaining. I mean, I think it was probably one of the better ones versus like the last several years. Just because I feel like it's been like slim pickings with cool and interesting new games, and so I feel like this one, because it was like so competitive, like the actual like who actually won. I thought there was like way more, like some of the most competition maybe that we've seen in quite some time, but also there was like a lot of new either surprises or just like learning more about things that we're really excited about. So I was fine with it. I know like a lot of people kind of like to shit on the Game Awards and just be like, it's a marketing event and it deprioritizes the awards and does a disservice to the games development community, because so it's like I don't necessarily want to get into that, philosophical conversation around like what is the purpose of the Game Awards. We had, it was entertaining.
We have
like,
one. Be happy with that. We have a Game Awards.
It's like I thought we had a good time. Like I don't think we had a good time last year. I think last year we were like, this is a fucking waste of time. And,
yeah, it was dragging on last year. It felt like it was dragging on last year, even though it's the same time.
Yeah, right. So I feel like, just based on that, we had a good time. They got to get those women numbers up.
Yeah, I mean
the women counter.
Definitely, we had a woman counter. I believe it only peaked at 3, and those were women that were developers. Obviously, they had like women that were presenters and actresses and all that stuff, and musicians. But we definitely want to see more women developers up there, more representation from that.
Better than 0, wasn't it 0 last year?
Yeah,
I think it was 0.
Definitely better than 0. They're people of color. Was definitely high this year, so that's a good plus. I enjoyed the show. I was a bit disappointed. I think we were caught off guard as well with like the awards actually starting early, whereas last year the pre-show was like these miscellaneous awards. This year, they were giving like the actual full like main category awards early, and we were like, "What the fuck? It already started." So that was a bit of a throw off.
Yeah, and there was this period like towards the end of the show where they just breezed through like 3 or somewhere between like 3 and 5 of like what I think are some of the beefier awards. They just like flew through them. I'm just like,
no presenters. It was just Jeff Keighley reading off the list. And that was it.
So maybe there's some balancing that needs to happen to shift it more into like, it is branded as the Game Awards. So,
and the other big thing to that is that you had a lot more solid announcements where it wasn't like everything was a world premiere, but it wasn't a world premiere. I believe the games that they showed were good, but it also took a lot away from the developers that won, because the main concern that everybody had was that they didn't give the winners like enough time. There was a lot of wrap-up music coming up early. Baldur's Gate, I think, winning Game of the Year, they only got like 30 seconds of thanks to whoever they were thanking. Even so, more so that I believe the head of the studio on Twitter did like a 16-page thread on what he wanted to say during the acceptance. So I think they just need to iron that out. Obviously, every year it's a little bit different and somebody hates something, but they're doing better.
I think they were just sick of Baldur's Gate winning everything.
I mean, they didn't win everything, but they did. I think they won like 4 or 5.
Can you imagine if we actually held to or this was, I guess, my idea, so it's all my fault. But if we held to the idea of taking a shot every time Baldur's Gate won something,
I would have been fine because I can drink.
Oh my god! I know that's not that number of shots. No. That would have been excessive. That would have been like they won like 6 awards or something. Or?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
But it was enjoyable.
I'm not built for 6 shots a night.
You're a dad now. I am. I'm hydrating. Yeah. You gotta hydrate. That's how you'll make it. But definitely enjoyable awards. Obviously, we've been doing this for 2 years. This one was definitely more enjoyable than last year, and hopefully it's the same vibe next year. And we want to do it again, and join us again next year for that. All right, so that's all we wanted to discuss for news and video game announcements. We're going to move on to some closing thoughts. I will start off. In terms of TV, I've been watching Blue-Eyed Samurai, which was on my radar because I know people were talking about it. I know it released a couple months ago on Netflix, but I am glad I got to it before the year's over because I think it's one of my top shows of 2023. If you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix. Check it out. It's an animated show, but it's a very mature animated show. There's definitely a lot of blood, teeth flying, people getting sliced in half, sex, all that stuff. The action is amazing. I know it got I read the news, it got picked up for season 2, so I'm super excited to see where it goes, but definitely check it out if you guys haven't. Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix. Check it out. One of my shows of the year. And then I also watched Scott Pilgrim Takes Off on Netflix as well. This one, I liked it because I like the Scott Pilgrim stuff, and I'm a really, really big fan of the movie. This brought back all the original actors for the movie. This being animated, they provided the voice work for all the characters, so that was pretty cool. But I don't know if I necessarily like the story that they told. I thought it was going to be not a one-for-one recreation of the comic or the movie, but I thought it was going to kind of follow the same path. But it totally the end of of episode 1, it's 8 episodes. At the end of episode 1, it totally changes completely. So everything after that is a whole different thing. I just don't know if I necessarily like the telling of it. So not super happy about that. And then video games. And this is where Nick is like, I told you so. I've been playing Yakuza 8 Like a Dragon. I know the name is confusing. It still confuses me every now and then.
It's 7, isn't it? Or 6? No, it's 7.
No, it's 8.
It's 8?
Yeah.
Fuck. I've been wrong this whole time?
Yeah, it's 8. Oh my god, or it might be 7. Fuck. It might be 7.
I'm looking it up. You can keep talking.
Whatever. So this is Like a Dragon. It got released in 2020. but Nick, I know, played it in 2021. That was his 2021 game of the year for a reason. I think it's really good. It has the mechanics mostly in terms of going around the world and the little city in Japan of the Like a Dragon franchise, but it's an RPG. But it's really enjoyable. The characters are hilarious. The story is telling very very amazing. It's an epic. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it's like a lot more people should give this a chance. I mean, I've been a big fan of the Yakuza series, but I feel like this one, in terms of the story and the characters you meet, the topics it deals with are like so mature and so like, oh my god, what the fuck, that you should definitely give it a chance. So I've been playing a lot of that. I think I put in like 50 hours already, so I'm definitely high up there. And I'm really really liking a game where like I spend 6 hours in a company management video game trying to become the number one company in the market, and I would rather spend like 6 hours in Fortnite Lego building a fucking farm. So yeah, it's definitely got its claws in me. I've been doing a bunch of shit on this.
Yeah.
Any questions you have
Glad
for
to
me
hear
since
it.
I finally got on it? Yeah.
Glad to hear it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it is Yakuza 7.
Oh, there's 7.
So I just confirmed that, but yeah, it's about fucking time, dude.
Yeah, you were right.
2 years,
I can say
2
you were
years
right
in the
for,
making.
for
How?
once.
So you made a comment about I can't remember exactly what you said, but from like a game system and like or like the battle system specifically, I felt like that's like it's nothing too crazy, but I feel like it was just kind of like it's pretty easy and fun,
Oh yeah.
and like there's a lot
moves in
more
it, the
flexibility
job
to it.
system,
You have a party, you can like swap out characters and make it more interesting.
the job system too is interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Job system, which they cribbed from, either Dragon Quest or Final Fantasy.
And the characters, I think the characters,
almost all the characters are great.
Yeah.
Mature themes, for sure. It is definitely wacky. Like I think Yakuza always has like a wacky to it, but I feel like this is like another extreme.
Well,
it does
works.
get
Otherwise,
like,
it would be like a very drab game where you're just like, oh my god, this is so sad all the time.
It does get like very emotional towards the end. So I think there's like some great performances, for sure.
Well, I'm also glad how different Ichiban is to Kiryu.
Yeah.
Like totally different characters, but they're both. You love both characters, kind of thing. So, I'm glad I'm playing as Ichiban, and I'm glad I'm playing this before Infinite Wealth comes out, because now I kind of want to play it more.
Yeah, no, that'll be good. And I played the Infinite Wealth demo, and the scope of it is like crazy. So it's good that you're like playing this now. It's a great game, but then you'll have a good understanding of like the baseline before getting into Infinite Wealth, because I was like pretty blown away by it. Just like how much shit there. Like it's very much more closer to like Grand Theft Auto type scale versus Yakuza scale, if that makes sense.
And now I'm definitely probably looking forward to working on that resort than I was before.
I was telling you, like, oh, it's fucking Animal Crossing bullshit. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. If you played the management sim and Like a Dragon, like it's that on steroids, and I think there's more meat to it. But I think that's going to be the core like business, kind of like management mini game in Infinite Wealth. So
they do such a good job of hooking you in with the mini games. Like there's one where you're like, fuck, I'm gonna spend hours inside of a game.
Game. Have you done Pocket Racers?
The Dragon Kart, yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah. Or isn't Pocket Racers in it too, or no?
Not in
Dragon Kart's in it. Dragon Kart's in it.
Not
for sure.
in the
It's
main. Not in, because I guess I go back to the original map. So in the map I'm in right now, there's no Pocket Racer. So I think the second map it'll go.
Okay, I just can't remember if it's in the game or not, because it's definitely in
the old Yakuza,
the Man Who Races name. Yeah. But yeah, there's just a lot of fun stuff to do.
Yeah, play Like a Dragon if you haven't. What about you? What have you been up to? What have you been playing? What you've been watching?
Did we talk? So I beat Alan Wake 2. I can't remember. I don't think we've debriefed on that fully.
No,
And
full
I think
debrief.
you wanted to save that for
For our
a full
Buns
review,
Press,
or
yeah, Buns Press review.
okay,
But
okay,
I
all
will
right.
tell you this: the more I've sat with this, the more my opinions have changed. So definitely, it's going to be a very interesting review.
Do you just want me to tell you my TLDR?
Yeah, you could TLDR it.
Okay. Alan Wake 2 is a mediocre video game,
I agree with you.
but it's a incredible interactive story.
I also agree with you on there.
Okay, okay.
Definitely
So
one part of it is better than the other part, and
Yeah.
we both know which part that is.
So it's so fun. So it's so interesting that your opinion on it has shifted.
Well, just sitting on it and thinking more of it, and also
Because
seeing like other people.
I remember you were giving me a hard time because I think we were just playing, just like catching up, doing whatever, and I was like, dude, this is fucking frustrating as shit. The gunplay is shit. Playing as Alan Wake sucks.
Well, that's because
Some of the just getting around the game, like there's like no like mini map or any, like it's just it was just like and then you were like, oh yeah, just run by everyone.
Well, now that I think, when I sat down,
you're literally just like, oh yeah, just don't even engage with.
When I sat down with it and I thought about it, I was like, oh, the Saga Anderson part's amazing, and then this Alan Wake part's
Dude, that's what I was saying.
shit. And then I was like, okay, so two different games. And then thinking back on having just played the original, the Alan Wake remaster, I was like, yeah, that was a shitty game. You're just going around with a flashlight and beaming fucking shadows. So yeah, great game, but mediocre parts definitely make up half of it, you would say.
Yeah.
Basically,
So
if they make Alan Wake 3, throw Alan Wake away. And they just call it Saga Anderson 3.
so one thought I had was, if this game came out in March, it would not have been nominated for Game of the Year.
Oh yeah. Like I think if more people would have sat on it like I did, they would have been like, okay, it's good, but it's not.
I think it
it's not
definitely got a ton of, because I think and then there's certain elements of it that I think are amazing and definitely worth praise for sure. And accolades, but like I don't think it's Game of the Year worthy.
Hi-Fi Rush or Alan Wake?
For what?
Which was better?
Neither are Game of the Year worthy.
Which one's better? Which one sticks with you more?
I think Alan Wake 2 is a more important game.
That wasn't the question.
Yeah.
I didn't say what was the more important.
From like a
game.
pure like game, just like straight up game. I mean, it's Hi-Fi Rush. Like Hi-Fi Rush is like a very well designed
game of the year between Hi-Fi Rush and Alan Wake. Who do you give it to?
I think I give it to Hi-Fi Rush.
There you go. That's all we needed. Okay.
Because it's an actual well designed game.
I would give it to the Saga Anderson part of Alan Wake.
You can't do that.
It's a true detective game. It's a Hannibal Lecter. Like that part's amazing.
X-Files.
Yeah, like
True Detective, Twin Peaks. Like if you like those worlds, like, so I was loving that stuff. Like that was great.
So we'll I'm glad we're gonna be doing a Buns Press review of this, even if we just did a TLDR. Because I do want to get into the nitty gritty of it. I feel like there's definitely a lot more we can discuss on it. So super excited for that.
But yeah, wrapped up Alan Wake 2, and then Fortnite did like a huge launch last week, right? So
yeah, launched all the experiences, Lego Fortnite, kart racing, and concerts, Fortnite concerts or whatever.
Yes, center stage or whatever the fuck it's called. So I played all that. The new, what are they even called anymore? Like the new season of Fortnite, I think is great.
Oh yeah. I haven't gotten in there, but I want to play it. And the turtles costumes look fucking sick.
Yeah, dude. There's Lego versions of them too that look incredible. That's what's so cool is.
I think Fortnite skins.
Yeah, I think this is the first instance of like the whole like metaverse craze that was happening, of like you having an asset that then gets more value generated by it, by like all these other different experiences. So I think this is like literally the first version of it I've actually seen be meaningful.
Totally agree with you on that.
Yeah, so like immediately all like any investment that I had in Fortnite kind of carried through into all these other completely different games. So I think that's pretty cool.
You said
Not that again that like everything needs to be that, but I think it's
well
cool
done.
that they're doing that. Yeah.
And you said you played all 3 experiences.
Yeah, I've played all 3. I mean, in a nutshell, like I think the racing game is very bad
And expensive.
I think. Yeah,
because you gotta,
which
like
I didn't even.
The cards are expensive, right? I mean, I know you get some cards through Fortnite. Like Fortnite gives you some cards when you log in, but I know they were saying they actually reduced the price because the cards were expensive.
Yeah, they've already walked back on the pricing. I think it's because people just like aren't like it's not that good of a racing game, so I think they kind of had to like in real time calibrate to a lot of the player feedback they were getting.
Maybe this one could have, done a little bit with a little bit more time in the oven.
Yeah, I mean, same thing with the music game. I think it's, it's presumably designed by Harmonix. I can't remember if they're actually credited, but I'm pretty sure they're involved.
With that one, I think it's more the fact that it doesn't have controller like music controller support yet.
Nah, I mean. Even I mean, I think it would be okay, but like just like the music tracks, it's like pretty limited. I think the selections actually don't translate well to being like fun songs to play. And even if there was a physical control, like it's just like too like overly simplistic. So I don't know. It's and I'm a rhythm guy. Like
yeah, you're a rhythm guy.
I love these games. So when I heard the announcement, I'm like, oh, like great, like just more of that for me. But I played a few songs and it was not that cool. I think maybe one of the bigger draws is it's I'm sure other games do it, but this does maybe the easiest, but doing it like multiplayer. So like we were able to do 4-person multiplayer and we each had an instrument or whatever, but it's like it doesn't really add much value. Like
no, you got to be in the room with the instruments.
It's like you got to be
having
in the
fun,
room,
jamming. Yeah.
So multiplayer doesn't really add too much to the experience in my mind. So that, but the
Lego Fortnite,
the big hit I think is Lego Fortnite, which I can't remember. Were we chatting? I remember I made a comment about it in one of our prior episodes where I'm like, this is either like I don't know what the scope is. I think they just announced that there was going to be a Lego Fortnite game, and I wasn't exactly sure what the scope of it was going to be. And I'm like, oh, it could be like similar to the scope of what they did with like the racing or the music game. But I think they very clearly
during the last episode, you had made this
very
point.
Clearly invested more time and effort into this mode, which I think was appropriate.
So my experience, before you tell them your experience with this, my experience with this was like when it got released on Friday, I booted it up or Thursday, whatever. I booted it up. I got in the world. It looked good. I enjoyed it for about an hour and a half. Then I got killed twice while roaming, looking for shit by a wolf. And I was like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. I don't want to build anymore.
You gotta get a heart charm, dude.
No, you
gotta build shit.
It's the building, man. Like I don't want to go into a game to build shit that extensively.
I know.
So I think that's what put me off. But I know you guys were really going in together in the world, right?
Yeah. And I'm not like I think a lot of people think of like Minecraft and those types of games. Which I don't know, maybe I've played it once, but like I don't play those games. I don't think I'm the target audience for them. My whole like builder game was Dragon Quest Builders. So I'm a big Dragon Quest fan. I often will check out some of these like, side games that they do in the franchise. So I played Dragon Quest Builders and had just like a great time with it. So that was what I saw was like, oh, is there like a Dragon Quest Builders type experience to be had here, and it's like literally exactly that. Maybe there's not as much like narrative, at least not yet. There's not too much like story. You're just kind of like going through a bunch of like missions and trying to like level up your village and things like that. So so maybe that's like one missing ingredient relative to Dragon Quest Builders, but everything else is pretty much there. And it looks beautiful. It runs really well. The mouse and keyboard controllers are pretty good for the most part. It doesn't get coverage for all of your Fortnite skins, but for a lot of your Fortnite skins, you get a Lego Mini. So I've been playing as Cable, which I thought it was very amusing that there was Cable from X-Force was one of the skins that made it through the cut. There's also a Silver Surfer one, but it's literally just a silver minifig.
Yeah, some of them are boring, but some of them look really, really good.
Yeah. The Cable one looks cool. So, and yeah, it's pretty fun to play online. Like it's easy to just like jump into a friend's world and vice versa. So yeah, I've been having a good time with that.
I mean, the potential for this is, I think, what's the most exciting part. Obviously, with each experience, like you said, the racing and the concert one aren't that great. The one that's really pushing it is the Lego one. But obviously, if you recall how Fortnite started, where it wasn't even a battle royale, it was a fort making game, and then it got the battle royale. Definitely with some time in the oven, getting cooked and figuring out what works, what doesn't. I think it definitely could be up there with potential. So we'll see.
Yeah, this isn't going anywhere. It's a forever thing. It's going to get a ton of investment, which I think is cool. So
my plan was to build to like invite you guys to my world, so you guys could build the shit there, and then I don't have to do anything. But you guys made your own world, so fuck you.
Yeah. But yeah, having a good time. I do think it's gonna. I think it's pretty light on content. So, which again, I think that's fine. I think they just wanted to get it out and see what the response is. So I don't know how much more I have before I get burned out, but I do see there being like a huge opportunity with this for sure.
According to our art director, D-Pass, Lego Fortnite had more active users than Battle Royale did, so it's definitely a hit.
Was it zero build? I think he said zero build mode, not the main mode.
Something like that. Don't quote me, but I was trying to give him a shout out.
Those fucking designer numbers. I don't know if you can trust those designer numbers. But yeah, no, I knew it was like a very large concurrent users number. I just wasn't sure if it like was number one or number two or whatever. But it's gonna be up there. And then Honkai Star Rail. I dipped back into that. They honk. Yeah, they just released a new patch, and I think there's more juicy stuff coming soon. So I played a ton of that game at launch. Haven't really touched it. I think I've maybe played it once or twice, very briefly, over the last year, maybe. But this is my first time picking it back up and like really leaning in on trying to like work through the story and all that. So yeah, I just started that yesterday and I'm having a good time. I'll probably play it. I think my general experience with these Hoyoverse games is like I'll go like hard on them for like 2 weeks and then I'm done for like either 6 months or 12 months, and then I'll come back in for like a couple week sprint. So I'm now in like day 2 of that 2 week sprint.
Oh, so good
I
to
still
be
need
back.
to I need to beat Star. Oh, I also got Star Ocean.
I saw you pop up on my Steam
Star
on that.
Ocean, Armored Core. I do want to beat Final Fantasy 16.
You have 14 days to beat all of these. To remember, our goal was to beat a lot of games in 2023. So
Oh, I've beaten more games this already. I've beaten more games this year than I have ever in my entire life.
We'll
sure.
We'll do the total tally in next year's episode, but definitely a good year.
Cool. All right. Well, this was a quick episode, right?
Yeah, it's one of our quickest. Psych. No, this is it's going on an hour and 30 right now. So we're gonna wrap it up. But since this is the last episode of the year, we just want to say thanks to everybody. Thanks for sticking with us for another year. You know, we like to do this. We like to bullshit about video games and our experiences, but we also like our community. Who would have thought that we would have been 2 years? We're about to start year 3, so that's super exciting. So enjoy your holidays, enjoy your Christmas and your New Year's. If you don't celebrate that, don't enjoy it. But go in and listen to our episodes or whatever. Join our Discord, go to our website, come and chat with us. And, you know, here's to 2024 being another great Pressing Buttons year. Anything you want to say, Nick?
Nope. You said it perfectly.
I meant a few words. But thanks, guys. Enjoy your year, and see you in 2024. I'm Hugo. Bye.
I'm Nick Later.